Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing around with crazy backgrounds and lots of layers on it to create a really grungy collaged page. So I'm starting off fairly simple in my craft journal, just mixing a variety of colours together. So I've started off with sort of a malachite turquoisey colour, got some green, got some pink. Now I'm doing this straight onto craft page, which means the colour is seeping into the page. I'm not getting those pure colours. So you can see when I've put the lime on for the second coat, it's much brighter than it was in the first coat. That's not necessarily an issue for me because I know I'm going to be doing lots of layers, but you can see the more layers you put on, the brighter the color is going to become. So once I've put on some layers, then I'm going in with some stenciling. So using some contrasting colors, I am going in with some of the pink or the raspberry, I think, and then I will go in with some of the mustard over the top and just doing some mark making using my favorite tool, a random paintbrush that is just sitting next to me. So I love buying really cheap kids brushes in lots of different sizes and shapes and just using those to make marks on my page. So you don't ever have to spend too much money, just use what you have got around you. So I could stop here with my background. It's a pretty cool background. Would look pretty bright and funky on a page, but of course, no, it's Niamh. I'm going to add more. Um, so I thought I would add in some stamping. So I've got these really big Tim Holtz number stamps. Had them out because I was doing, what was I doing? I think I was a class I did at the start of the year where I was doing sort of like a 2025, so I still have my numbers out. I started with the blue, didn't really like how that turned out, so I'm actually going over with a little bit of gesso just to sort of blend the colours together. Good thing about the archival inks, well, good or bad, but I like this feature of them, is because they're an oil-based ink. The oil will obviously try and rise to the surface, so even though I've got the white on it, it will turn it sort of that turquoisey colour because the ink will rise to the top. I'm also going in with some of my pink Stabilo woody pencils and adding a little bit of extra colour to the edges. Then I'm going in with some stamping because I don't have enough craziness on my page already. So when I'm adding mark making stamping in the background, I do tend to use colours I have used in the background. So I'm repeating colours. So obviously I've got the turquoise on here, so I'm adding some extra turquoise. I had pink on there, so I added some extra pink. I'm overlapping a lot of stuff and just chucking it all on because there's no right or wrong way to do this. So had a crazy background, got a little bit crazier. You can see I've taken a photo of it. So quite often when I'm doing pages like this, I do like to take photos as I go along, just to give me a bit of a sense of how it's all going. Now I thought I would be smart and do a bit of a resist or a ghost technique and put on some paint and wipe it away. What actually happened is because my background layers weren't quite dry enough, it sort of muted everything down, which wasn't the effect I was going for. So you can see I'm adding more color back in again by over stenciling, by adding in the colors I had in the beginning and adding a few more colors with my pencils, with the yellow and the turquoise and so on onto my page. I then decided I was going to add more stenciling because why not? You can never have enough stenciling on a page. So now I'm going in with some turquoise in the larger squares, going in with some yellow, mixing the yellow and mustard together just to make it a little bit brighter and stick out on the page a little bit more. So this is getting really crazy at this stage because there is lots of layers happening. At any stage you can stop. Okay, Niamh tends to go to the nth degree. You don't need to. You can have a look and go, yeah, I liked it up until that point, so I'm going to stop here. But you know, when you've got all your stuff there and you're bored and you're watching something good on TV, excuse me, you just tend to keep going. So of course, because I'm in quite a drippy mood at the moment, I decided to drip some paint down. I actually really liked how this ended up. This is also a really good lesson in sometimes more is good. Sometimes when we are doing layers, we stop too soon. Um, Sometimes stopping too soon is good as well, don't get me wrong. But sometimes if you keep going and adding more layers, it just ties the whole thing together. So putting those drips down, putting that white over really helped to tie that page together. I decided I'd want to go in with a little bit of stenciling over the top just to get a little bit of that white back. So it's not, punching you in the face with color. It's just that little hint of, there was something here or there is something here. So when I got up to this page, I did actually stop with my background. I thought I actually really like how this is going. What am I going to do with it now? So I went to my collage soup stash of pictures and I found these really funky birds to cut out. So because I had sort of a really sort of grungy, almost steampunky background, I thought I'd go with that flow with my collage as well. Um, just to keep it to um, that sort of quirky, interesting stage. Now you can see I cut out around all the fingers. I got really bored and didn't cut her out around the feet. So you can be quite choosy when you're doing your fussy cutting. Usually I would do this beforehand, but like this is showing you how I create on the fly. I did this whole page from start to end. It took me about an hour to do. And probably the longest bit of it was actually cutting out all these images. One of the things I find when I'm doing fussy cutting is I'm quite particular, which is really funny when I'm usually not when it comes to my backgrounds and pages. But when I'm cutting something out, I actually like to cut up to the image itself. So you'll see me get my craft knife and cut out around the feet. It just really bugs me on pages to see, everything cut out to the edge and then having, a little bit of white between its legs or something. It just looks unfinished to me. So that's my personal little bugbear. I don't know if anyone else is the same as that. It's one of the reasons I haven't really got into die cutting because it really bugs me with all the die cuts that they actually leave the white border around everything. And I would spend half my time cutting that white border off. So, you know, this is how my brain works. It's a bit weird. So I've got all my little birdies that I'm just chucking on into little groups. I did want to leave a space for a quote. I had no idea what my quote was going to be, but I knew I wanted to write on this page because these are the sorts of pages I do tend to put kind of snarky quotes on. So I had my group of birds looking at another bird. Even though I did cut out an extra, I didn't put them all on. Then I put a white outline around them just to push them out from the background a little bit, and it gave it a little bit of a glow, which I actually really liked. So in my wisdom, I decided, well, if I like that white glow, why not put some other glows around it? You can see here I decided to put more birds on because why not? Why have one bird when you can have thousands? So I decided to draw a heart on it. Then I got my turquoise and did a border. Then I put some yellow around it, sort of give this neon glow to my birds and blended them in. So one of the reasons I like using Spillo woodies is because they are that little bit thicker, but they're also really easy to blend. And it sort of gives you that, as I said, neon glow, which I really liked. This this page I created. It's one of the reasons why there was so much going on. While I was watching the version of Come From Away, our local theatre is putting on Come From Away in October, and I'd seen one or two songs. I hadn't seen the whole thing. Oh my goodness. I'm not a crier usually, and I cried basically from beginning to end while I was creating this page. It was just really funny because like it is beautiful, but it just took me back to where I was on the day and how I was feeling. I happened to be traveling on September 11th as well. I was in Ireland. and we had to travel 5 days after, which is what the Gander people had to do. When they went back to America, they were traveling 5 days after. So it was just like, I remember going through the airport and the stuff that they were saying. It was like, wow. So this this page is created while undergoing watching that. Weren't necessarily all unhappy tears, but it was just a very emotional moment, which is where that quote came from. So again, it really wasn't um, planned in any way, but the summary I came away with from watching that show is sometimes being grounded gives us a new perspective on life. So I just needed to write that down after going through all that, watching that show. I needed to have a memory of that experience. So, um, yeah, this is what happens when you get distracted by what you're watching, and this is what you end up creating. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the crazy backgrounds. Until next time, bye for now.